Namaskar. Today is 26 June and 26 June every year is celebrated as International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. It's also called as the World Drug Day. This day we focus on people who have problems with drug use, drug abuse and drug addiction. This year's theme is People First, Stop Stigma and Discrimination and Strengthen Prevention. It is known that drug users have been stigmatized, called as bad people, called as entities of society which is to be shunned, and therefore these communities are marginalized. They need to be mainstreamed and need to take all sort of help that is available to them so that they give up the habit of using drugs. It is also important that we work and teach people the world over that drug addiction is a mental illness and it is not just a bad habit. Therefore, if we stigmatize drug users, they will never come for treatment. And that is the reason why this year's theme focuses on stopping stigma.
I've observed that addiction problem has affected the different sections of the society, whether it is the upper class, the lower class or the middle class of the society. Each section of the society is affected by the problem. It is also observed that the child is affected by the addiction problems. So we need to have good role models in the family.
We also know that many of the drug users take their drugs intravenously. And therefore, we also need to keep these drug users away from HIV/AIDS and hepatitis, which are often life-threatening illnesses.
As you are aware, the menace of drugs exists in the country, and the law enforcement agencies are doing their best to eradicate it. The root cause for this menace to continue prevailing is because of the demand for drugs. No sooner the demand for drugs is curtailed, the supply will reduce and will ultimately lead to eradication. For this, we have to get to the grassroots levels. The youth of today are a very vulnerable segment in our society. We have caught several peddlers who, after interrogation, have revealed that they were introduced to drugs at a very young age. That's the reason I say that the youth of today are a vulnerable segment in our society. For this, the parents, the teachers, their role comes into play, wherein they have to maintain a watch on the behavioral changes, the physical appearances of their children. We have had many awareness programs in educational institutions wherein the children, the teachers and the parents attended. We have described to them the various appearances of drugs, the ill effects of drugs, the symptoms after consumption of drugs. We ascertained that most of the parents don't know what the drugs look like. So we have educated them on that aspect.
We have to also bring together voluntary services who will help us in preventing drug use as far as education, treatment and rehabilitation is concerned. We also need to educate the society on drug use behaviors, drug use withdrawal symptoms and the other perils or other evils of drug use. We also should see drug users with a kind heart. Therefore, instead of imprisoning them for drug-related behaviors, we should look at doing some sort of community level incarceration or some sort of community level punishment, so to say, and not imprisonment as is being mandated all over.
As we celebrate the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, I am reminded of a quote by the great Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "Hate the sin, but not the sinner." And today, as we come together for celebrating this particular day across the globe, we must look at the way in which we can put people first and crime last. Yes, there are people who are involved in such kind of heinous crimes, but at the same time, we must understand why they are doing it. And if at all they can be transformed, that should be our first priority, to look at how our jurisprudence can make all the changes possible in their life so that they can move from the negative side of life to the positive side. And for that to happen, you and I as a society collectively, beyond the law perspective, we have a big role to play, wherein we need to encourage people. We need to stop the stigma and discrimination that is associated with these kind of problems. Of course, we have to strengthen the law system. We have to make sure that the criminals are punished, but at the same time, somebody who is involved on the wrong side, it should be our endeavor to put people first and stop the stigma and discrimination. Thank you very much.
I must applaud the initiative taken by the Addiction Treatment Facility, North District Hospital, Mapsa, Goa, in organizing this awareness program in lieu of the Drug Awareness, International Day of Drug Awareness.
So this 26th June, I urge all of you to keep an open mind and accept drug users as any other patients that you would who suffer from mental illness. Thank you.